You ready?
Yeah.
No, it's really not a big deal. It's just fun. So here we are, everyone. A special, very special episode of Tequila Talks. We're going to do an investor spotlight on Miss Devlin. Here's Miss Devlin.
Hi.
Miss Devlin's a friend of mine. She decided to dive into the world of real estate investing. She does have a real estate background. Tell us a little bit about what you do, your experience with real estate.
Well, my training and my education is actually, I have a master's in historic preservation.
Okay.
So I have a background in sourcing materials and construction administration. I've had my own rental properties on top of that.
Nice.
And I've also renovated my own homes.
Nice. I knew you did the historical preservation. I didn't know you had that much experience though.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. The wonder this is kind of all naturally falling into place for you.
It is. A lot of I feel like a lot of my experience can translate to this. I have not managed a full-on renovation of a home that's not my own.
Yeah.
So working with this many subs is a new experience for me, but it's really a fun one.
So let me take a step back, and I want to just give a little kind of timeline on what happened here. So I spoke to Devlin the first time, about a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I met her through another investor. We went to go look at a home that this investor was interested in buying.
I was just there as another set of eyes.
Exactly. But the house needed a ton of work, right? So we had these conversations and we were talking. And at the end, I was chatting with Devlin, and Devlin said, "You know what, Rodney, I've always wanted to get to investing here in Austin. Can we set up some time to chat?" Like, absolutely. The first things first, we had to get basically the finances in order and determine the price range and the finances, right? So when those came together, it just so happens that a phenomenal project became available. So Devlin jumped right in. I showed her the project. We ran some numbers. A couple of days later, Devlin said, "Yeah, let's do it, right?"
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then tell me a little bit about how you felt that process went.
I thought it went really well, and I had actually tried to flip houses when we lived in Minnesota, and I just could never get it off the ground. The realtor wasn't very experienced in flips.
Okay.
She didn't have the network that is really helpful when it comes to flipping properties. And so when I met you, and then we started talking about properties and what I wanted to do, I just immediately felt more comfortable working with you because you have the subs lined up. You were amazing at estimating. That made everything so much easier.
And that's a great point. I would say that the biggest obstacle that I see investors struggle with, besides the financing part, the contractors are the hardest thing. So everyone that I refer out, those are people I know that I've worked with, have relationships with.
Right.
That's why I know what they charge, because I know I've worked with them so much.
Well, yeah, you've been in it.
She's closed on her property. Renovation started a few weeks ago. Like, tell me about the process from making an offer to closing to starting construction to where you're at now. I mean, how's it going?
It's going really well. Really well. I luckily had enough time between making an offer and closing that I was able to lay some groundwork. So I was able to start thinking about design and thinking about really honing in my budget.
So let's say there's a new investor coming in that, is kind of just on the fence about getting into investing, whether it's flipping, buy and hold, house hacking, whatever it is they're trying to do. What piece of advice would you give them?
I would say, have your ducks in a row. First get your finance, all situated, because when the right property comes along, you want to be ready.
Yeah.
And I was so glad that I was able to do that, because the property that you found and brought to me is just amazing. Yeah. So be open-minded, because the house was priced higher than what I was initially going to do for my first flip. But once we went and saw it, and once we ran the numbers together, and once we talked about the renovation and what the after renovation value would be, it just made total sense, to step out of my comfort zone a little more.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for the Investor Spotlight with Ms. Devlin. She kicked ass, didn't she? Hand of applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we got a question that came in from one of our last episodes.
All right, I'm ready.
So it's from Jalapeno ATX. You know who you are. So his question is, when we're done with flips and you're staging a property, he wants to know if we put the toilet paper over or under.
Always over.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
If you look like in fancy hotels, they always have it over and then folded neatly.
Yeah.
And so I just think that is just a final nice little touch.
Well, there you go.
Over folded.
So that's Devlin's response. Mine is, I'm not having toilet paper in my house. I don't want realtors. I don't want agents. I don't want clients. I don't want my trades guys using the bathroom.
I didn't even
no toilet paper.
think about that.
Yeah, well.
That's brilliant.
You'll learn.
I'll learn.
I speak from experience. Salut, Devlin.
Salut. Thanks, Rodney.
You're welcome. Thank you. Hey, thanks for stopping in and watching. We'll see you on the next one. Ciao. Bye-bye.